what would you do? What do you need to do to stay calm when Facebook is down?
There are a few methods that we will be covering today. One would be to prepare your company in terms of social media spending and things like that. Another would be to cover what you can do for your website in case this happens and you want your website to always be up whenever possible. And third would be how to rely on your own email list.
Hello, selamat tengah hari and welcome. Terima kasih kerana menonton lagi sekali bersama kami. Saya Sarah dan ini adalah Hanis dan kami daripada Antas Solutions. Setiap minggu, 2 kali seminggu kami akan berborak tentang update-update terkini, apa yang tengah terjadi pada waktu semasa dalam dunia e-commerce and social commerce. And pada hari ini kita akan bercakap tentang satu topik yang sangat menarik, sangat hangat, which is kita akan bercakap tentang apa yang terjadi beberapa hari lepas, not too long ago, iaitu Facebook system down. So it wasn't just Facebook, it was also WhatsApp and what else?
WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, because
WhatsApp,
they're all owned by Facebook, right?
yes. So
Yeah.
masa tu terjadi, mesti semua orang akan mengalami. I tahu semua orang rasa sebab masa ni semua orang ada dekat phone. Masa tu pukul 11 lebih here in Malaysia. I pun tengah guna phone juga. Tiba-tiba WhatsApp tak send kan. I macam, kenapa semua message I tak send? So Hanis, what about you? What were you doing when the outage happened?
I was actually I was at my in-laws, so they were watching the news or something, and I was trying to distract myself by, scrolling through my social media feed and looking for inspirational messages and images to post. And suddenly I kept seeing the same thing. I couldn't escape it. I closed the app and I came back and it's still the same. So that happened. Yeah, I couldn't refresh it and nothing seemed to work. So I went over to Twitter to find out what was going on, and sure enough, a lot of people were saying Facebook is down, and yeah, lots of things happening there. So Twitter really had their field day on that day.
I know they even tweeted a funny tweet, right, mocking and saying hello literally everybody, because they know everybody's jumping on their platform, right? And this is what we
Yes.
want to talk about today. What would you do, what do you need to do to stay calm when Facebook is down? So apa yang kita nak buat untuk rasa tenang, rasa okay apabila Facebook down, especially jika anda menggunakan these channels untuk anda punya marketing. So kalau semua marketing anda letak dekat anda Facebook, anda Instagram and outage ni terjadi, this one yang ni 6 jam. Tapi kalau anda ingat pada tahun 2019, benda ni pernah terjadi and it lasted longer, like 14 jam. So lepas ni entah berapa lama pula kan. So Hanis, this is what we're going to talk about today, right? What to do.
Yes, we are. And well, basically, media outlets quoted Down Detector, which tracks outages. This was the largest failure it's ever seen, with 10.6 million problem reports across the globe. So according to BBC, right, some people also reported problems with Oculus, Facebook's VR headset platform, and apps that require Facebook logins. So if you're using Netflix and you log in through Facebook, I think you won't be able to watch Netflix, among other things. And those who are into Pokemon Go, they couldn't log in as well. So I don't know how the Ray-Ban thing was happening. I'm sure they would have been affected as well. You can't share stories live anymore on your Ray-Bans. So yeah. So what can you do? There are a few methods that we will be covering today. One would be to prepare your company in terms of social media spending and things like that. Another would be to cover what you can do for your website in case this happens and you want your website to always be up whenever possible. And third would be how to rely on your own email list. So the importance of having your email list, right? So the first thing would be to diversify your media spend within and outside of social media. So I think brands should now assess how much they spend on a single platform, so that if anything happens like this, the disruption, their business won't be affected. Their sales will still carry on other channels possibly and on their own website. So there is a general rule of thumb where 20% of the budget is optimized on other platforms when a major network like Google and or Facebook goes down. So Google actually did recently go down a few months ago as well. So we couldn't access Gmail and things like that, right? So yeah,
Yep,
your
yep.
budget should be like spread about a bit. So I'm just gonna also just put this up there in case you're watching it later. You're like, what's she talking about? So yeah, this is what you should be doing. One of the first thing you might want to consider doing. The second one obviously would be to prepare yourself for the next outage. So you should be able to pivot a little bit to lessen the blow and to have some what if scenario. So if this happens again, you should maybe inform your team about how long it should take, the duration specified before they take the next step of next step of action.
Step of action.
And yes, and you can also screen grab your screen do a screen grab video of you attempting to pause your ad campaigns, so that if you cannot pause your campaigns and it's an internal error by the social media channel like Facebook, for example, you can apply for credit, right? Yes, and your customers may also be looking at other traditional channels to reach out to your brand. So you might want to have your social team, your non-social media team, equipped with pre-approved messaging when this happens. So that's number two. I'm just going to share that here as well. And the third one would be to adjust your measurement tracking and optimization. So you should be able to benchmark what needs to be accounted for during this outage. For example, comparing Monday's performance against the previous week's performance. So you can basically pull the right data out, and the first thing you need to do is to make sure that your campaigns are back up and running correctly. So it appears to be in order from a setup point of view, because you don't know, yes, things might be up and running already, but we don't know whether the ad campaigns are still in order. So that's number three. Yes, keep a close eye on delivery and performance over the next 12 to 24 hours. So now we're into our I guess it's the 24 hours now. Next 48 already, because it happened on Monday night. So last night would have been 24 hours, and this would be the second day running. A message may have been sent. A customer message may have been sent during the interruption, so you might want to be checking your messages from your customers that might have been missed out during this outage. So that's my 3 points in terms of ad spend and the ad dashboard and things like that. In terms of having your own website, this is something that I have been actually emphasizing with my with our participants in workshops for the e-commerce classes and the Facebook Live classes. They're always asking how important it is to have their own website, and we always emphasize that you should have your own home, a place to call home. So your website is your home. So no matter what happens, earthquakes or whatever, tornadoes around your space, in a sense, you still have your home to go to, and your customers should know where your home is. So don't rely on marketplaces, don't rely on social media solely. Have your own website. And we've got some tips actually shared by Michael Kwan. He is from Pixel. He's a web design and development agency based in Kuala Lumpur. He says that you should be splitting your web components. So typically, website ownership involves three components: the domain, which is the domain, the address, the website address, the DNS server, and the hosting server. So a DNS server basically it points the internet to your website, right? So use more established internet services companies. So in case something like this happens, is an on international scale, you know that you can rely on providers like GoDaddy, Bluehost, Exabytes, and all that. And all you want to do is make sure that everything is under one roof, so that you can monitor everything. And talk to your web service professional to split these components into three separate providers if possible. So if one fails, you can always have a switch over, right? So yeah, that is one. Let me just flash that as well.
Yes. And like what Adeline shared, Adeline said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yes. That's what Adeline was talking about, diversifying your ad spend. So
Yeah.
spreading it. And also Adeline said, yes, website is our own asset. Exactly. It's your own asset. Like Hani said, it's your own home, it's your own shop, it's owned by you. That's the first thing that should be updated with all your info, all your promotions, all your marketing campaigns. It should run there first. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the home ground.
Yeah. Yes, your home ground. And then you should also host your backups offsite. So make backups of your backups, if that makes sense. A lot of the common mistakes that website owners assume is that they assume that the server guys should have a backup. So never make this assumption, because we also took in, right, Sarah? Like a few years ago, uh, about 2 years ago, we got hacked. Our website got hacked,
Yes.
and and we managed to save whatever we could, and then we had, lucky for us, we had a backup,
Yeah.
right? So, and also make sure that your backup has enough space to back up your backup. Um,
That's
and
a lot of backups, but yeah, I've only recently started physical backup. So I took
mhm.
uh that a physical hard disk, and your auto backup it either daily or weekly. But yeah,
Yeah. There was one thing that Michael was sharing. There was this company which hosted everything in their HQ. So the server was there, all the data was there, and when a fire broke out, everything was like, burnt to the ground literally.
yeah, literally at the
Yeah,
data center,
literally.
right?
Exactly. So that's why you should always have something offsite. Yeah. And the third thing would be taking ownership of your website. So if you're outsourcing your website to a freelance web professional, never fully rely on them to take care of everything for you. Always know where your systems are, the ones to be mentioned study, and where your backups are, and learn how the basics work. Sometimes we know we are not so technical. We just hand over everything, but when things like this happen, and then you don't have any, you can't answer, what you don't know what's happening, in
What's
this sense.
happening? Yeah.
Exactly. So if you have at least the basic knowledge of these three core things, you will know what to do next, right? So yeah, that covers the website ownership. And the third one we wanted to cover was the importance of having your email list. So if you don't have an email list yet because you don't have a website, you could start off with a landing page to do this, like what Sarah mentioned 2 weeks ago, I think. I know weeks are days are flying by. So landing pages versus websites. We had a session prior to this, so you check that YouTube out or Facebook Live repeat. That's where we tell you how you can actually get um,
Leads.
email addresses, yeah, leads, email addresses, by offering something in return, for them spending time to leave the address or the email address on your website. So it could be a free gift, it could be a discount, it could be just a trial of your product, or something similar like that. So email is personal. It allows you to land into your users' inbox. So there's no ranking system limiting your reach. When you advertise on Google, or you're depending on SEO and things like that. You all in the search engine, you're always wanting to go into the first page, or even when you are posting on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you're always fighting against a lot of other people. But when you have your own email list, it's your own, right? And it's personal. You're talking to them one on one.
Yes, and if
So
anyone tells you that email is dead, we've heard this 10 years ago, and email
yeah,
is never dead. So
yeah.
always, yeah, grow your database.
Grow your database. And and even though they say email is dead, when it comes to legal things, you still need to rely on your emails as proof for whatever legal transactions needs to be done. So protect yourself by having your emails. And then email is, you own your email list. You do not own Facebook, you do not own Twitter, you do not own Google. Your social media campaigns and SEO efforts can go to waste when these platforms change their policies or just completely disappear. Like now, Facebook is under fire for trying to manipulate the users, manipulate the data, and all that. And then the whistleblower thing is going on. So when you have your email list, you're not influenced by decisions of other businesses, right? Yeah, did I already flash that? So yes, I'm going to flash this. And the third one is email is one-to-one. People read email in the privacy of their own inbox. The message not the message is not on a public timeline or news feed, so they feel more comfortable interacting with you, they're replying to your messages. And there's the trust factor there. They feel that they don't have to air their worries in public when there's an email option there. So that's number 3. And then we have number 4, which is the last one for the day. So more people use email several times a day. You may have heard that Facebook has 1.4 billion and Twitter has 100 million daily active users. What you may not have heard is the number of email users actually. So let me try to see email users per day, if there are any statistics out there. According to Google, between 2017 and 2025, they shared the numbers going up. So if you say email is dead, right? In 2017, there was 269 emails, 269 billion emails being sent per day. And 2020, there was 306.4 billion emails sent per day. So no, it is not dead.
300 billion. Okay.
Yeah, per day. So yeah, that's what we wanted to share today. Is there any questions or comments or anything we can help with regards to outages like this, which rarely happens, but we need to be prepared for.
Yes,
Tak ada lah.
and like our point just now, prepare for the next outage,
Yeah.
expect this to happen, and then like Hani said, prompt your team so you already have a plan. So when this happens, what do you need to do? What do your social managers need to do and such? So do you have any questions in related to this topic? For example, you're like, okay, now I want to create my own website, but I don't know how. Please just again post it in the comments. Any other follow-up questions?
If there's
And
none,
then,
then we'll just catch you on the next session, which is on Friday, because every Wednesday and Friday we always talk about social commerce, e-commerce, and basically just getting to know you one-to-one. And yeah, so I guess there's nothing from you guys. You're a quiet bunch. If you need to watch the repeats of this video, we always have it on our Facebook timeline, our Facebook Antas Solutions timeline. But if you're not comfortable watching it on Facebook because of whatever privacy issues, maybe you can also watch it on YouTube. It's usually posted about 2 days after the actual live session. So yeah, I hope you have learned something from this. Let's see if we got. Thanks, Adeline. You're always so supportive. We love you. Because of people like you, we have 3 badges on our Facebook page now. Thanks, Adeline. We really, really appreciate it. All right, guys. So we'll see you on Friday, same time, 12:30 p.m. GMT +8. Bye.